Hello, everybody. It's so great to be here with you. The energy, and yes, the band and everything, I feel so honored. I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land. It is, like I said, it's an honor to be here with you and to be sharing about my experience over the last couple of years. I want to start by sharing a couple of things about myself. 3 things, actually. Number 1, I'm originally from Guatemala, so I've got a bit of an exotic accent. I've lived in a few places, but I've spent the last 12 years here in Australia. Number 2, I've been in the industry for about 2 decades now, and I've been helping organizations studying, shaping, reshaping, and leading design teams here and overseas. Although the industry has changed, there's a few things that haven't changed, like how we become more seniors. So what I'll be sharing with you today is my experience, the things that I wish I knew 20 years ago when I started, so you can get to your next career step. And the third thing is that I'm actually not that great at slides. Presentations, rectangles and PowerPoint are not really my thing. Am I the only one? So I chose to share with you my content on a big canvas. So what I'll be sharing, I'll walk you through my Figma file, and I've illustrated the whole thing so you'll feel at home. Okay, so let me get to it. We good? That's it. And sorry, let me just grab some water. I just need to get set up here. All right. So this is all about structuring your way to a senior role. And it turns out seniority, it's something you can structure, it's something you can drive, and I'll show you how to navigate the field so you get to that next role. Doesn't matter what your title is, a more senior role. And it all starts with good design. We love good design. That's why we're here. We want to do more of it, and we know what good design is when we see it. You know that form follows function. We know design is aesthetic. We know it's simple. We know it adds value. Now, good design comes from mature design organizations. So this is organizations with the ability to successfully deliver value. And those organizations have senior design roles contributing to that value creation. Now, these 3 things, good design, amateur design organizations, and senior contributions, they are all related. In fact, there is a hierarchy here. And becoming more senior, it's actually really important. That is how we deliver good design. Now, the difference between wanting to become more senior and actually doing it, knowing how to do it, it's huge. There's a huge chasm there. So what I'll be doing in the next 16 minutes is that I'll show you how to cross that chasm. And I'm going to start with reminding us, I'm just going to get comfortable here so I can scroll things, how we are living in this incredible time where things change rapidly. Digital transformation is an actual thing, and it's changed how we live our lives. And that's meant that design has also transformed. What we're doing now, it's vastly different to what we were doing a few years ago. Our outputs, the tools we're using, what we're creating, everything's different. And it's very interesting because back in the day, actually, not long ago, it was pretty easy to spot the design team. The couple of guys over there, or girls, or all of us, doing design, and it was easy to describe what we were doing. And the skill set was pretty, defined. Now, it's a little different. Because now we have a whole range of skills and disciplines and contributions. And it's a little bit more abstract. We're at all different levels and we're spread out and all these things. And this is great because that gives our field a richness to it. And we can move and we can contribute to different things, but it's also harder to navigate. So I'm going to start with a couple of basic terms so we all get on the same page. Okay, so terminology. We have function. When we talk about function, we're talking about design, about teams. So in this case, design teams, that is the vertical group of individuals who have a shared responsibility. Within the function, we have disciplines. And this is where we start branching out different specialities. So we have UI designers, UX designers, content designers, or UX research, and all the functions. All the disciplines. And within that, we have levels. Those are the levels that we want to climb up when we commonly refer to, I want to get more senior. Now, this part of the conversation, it's interesting because within the levels there, we have titles, and titles, something like, senior product designer. And that's okay, but then what's your role? Having the word senior in your title doesn't actually make you a senior. And I know it sounds obvious when I say it, but you can't imagine. It's the most common misconception. In fact, the length of time that you've spent doing something or your years of experience doesn't guarantee that you're actually any better. And you can think of, yourselves in certain areas of your life, like, I don't know, cooking, singing, driving, I hope not. But there's some individuals out there, not here, that have spent a lot of years driving and are not getting any better. So time alone, the mere passing of time, won't make you a senior. So this is so important that I have highlighted our first takeaway. That is, your role is not your title. I'll be highlighting takeaways along this presentation. I have 5 here for you. And at the end, I have a framework that I want to share with you. So this is the first one. Your role is not your title. So, what is your role? I hear you ask. Great question. I'll tell you. Let's talk about the role you are playing. And this is better illustrated with this example. When you started your career, or if you are starting your career, you are probably given a brief, something that needs to be designed, and you're working on that solution. And this is a great opportunity to put your craft into practice, and you build something and you put it out there, and it's magical because now people are using it. Great. Then you get a little bit more experience, and you start thinking, hang on a second, is this the best solution for the problem we're solving? And you get interested in the problem, more in the problem than in the solution. So you're more comfortable when you are given the problem to be solved than the solution to be built. So you start working on problems. And these dots here represent the complexity of things. And then some of you go, I don't know if that's the right problem to be solving. And you prefer to start with an open problem, and of course an open solution. You prefer to be given the opportunity, and then you frame the problem. Now, this scale here represents a spectrum of seniority, and these are your contributions. And this is our takeaway number 2. That is, your contributions define your role. This is what makes you a senior. Now, you also need something very important here, that is, you need to be in the right environment. That is, your organization. So let me tell you more about organizations. Your organization needs to be mature enough for you to have the space to contribute the way you want to contribute. What is a mature organization? We've had a couple of definitions earlier today. We have a whole workshop tomorrow, so don't miss that one. That's going to be good. But I'll give you the 2 seconds overview of what a mature organization is. It has nothing to do with size. There's very small or huge organizations, and they can be mature or not, doesn't really matter. Stage, whether that's a startup, a scale-up, or a scaler, as in, are they still sorting out their value proposition, or do they have a full value prop with solutions and everything, and they are building on it? That's over here. That also doesn't matter as much. What matters is the types of contributions the organization is giving to the users. So are they reframing the problem, as in, Netflix, Spotify, Uber, all of this? Are they working on problems that others have defined? Or are they simply working on solutions? And let me tell you, if there's organizations working only on solutions, they won't last very long. Their days are numbered. With startups, they have to frame problems, otherwise they don't last very long. With big organizations, if they are working only on solutions, they won't be long until someone comes and disrupts them. So this is to illustrate, this is the same thing for organizations, the same thing that I showed you with your own contributions. And this is important because, let me just bring that scale over here. Like I was saying, this is your spectrum of seniority. Now, what that means is, if your organization is, let me just drag this thing over here. I was trying to be too clever here with things. There we go. If the organization is over here, and you want to deliver things over here, you want to frame problems, but your organization is not there, you're going to get very frustrated because you won't have the space. If the organization is over here, and you are all the way here, you might have the space. With the appropriate support, you will be able to grow and to start contributing at that level. Is that making sense? Yeah, great, nods. Okay, so this is takeaway number 3. That is, it's all about developing the right skills so you can contribute here progressively to more value creation things and being in the right environment. But then, the disciplines. Remember we were talking about the disciplines just before? Okay, let's bring it into view here. Turns out, as you start working on solutions and then working on problems, there are some of you that are really good at thinking, hang on, we need some tools to get this done, and we need better insights and better processes and enablers, really, for us to scale. And you start thinking, how might we get this better? How might we scale? And we need all of this. So this is part of the team thinking about designing effectively and at scale. So here you start with your, we need a dedicated researcher over here and over there, and a design systems team, and all of these supporters to help us deliver value. Now, I thought it was relevant to mention that over here because, similar to what I said before, if you want to contribute to one of these disciplines and the organization is not there, you're going to get frustrated as well. They need to be ready. You know that classic case of, I need to sell X to the organization. I need to sell research. If you need to sell it, they are probably not there. So I would encourage you to find a space or organization that has that if you really want to get into one of those You'll need to be more selective on the company you are joining. But the disciplines, takeaway number 4, will depend then on the organizational stage. Now, with all of that, I hope you can see no one here is going to get stuck in their careers from lack of opportunity. Because there's lots to do here. There's lots of spaces and places to grow. And it's like if you are standing in a room with 1,000 doors, and each one's going to take you to a different path in your career. And if you stop and deliberately select the right doors, you are going to get more senior. I promise you, if you think carefully about the next set of skills you're going to master, you are going to get more senior. It's about contributions and skills. Now, if this is so important, selecting the right skills, having clarity on what those skills are is critical. So let's talk about structure and clarity so we can organize those skills. And I'll come all the way here. Okay. You see why I couldn't do slides? Just need space. Okay, so let's talk about structuring your growth. And you can look at this as your formula. I'll give you the components, and sort of like the formula. You have to do the work and put them together. This works, by the way, for teams. So whether that's you are growing your team, or if you're an individual and you don't have a team structured this way. I'll give you both applications, both examples. So the components. First, you start with your skills. You make a list of the top skills your discipline needs to contribute to value creation. And a good way to think about these ones is to split them into craft skills, functional skills, and behavioral skills. And to bring it to life and illustrate it, I will show you an example with a discipline that I dearly love, product design. And these are the skills. This is my framework, as in the one that I have for my team. And it works really well. So the craft skills for product design, in my case, again, you have to decide which ones are the ones that work for you and your organization. But in this case, that is visual interaction design and user focus. The craft skills, by the way, are the ones that make the discipline unique. So in this example, product design is going to have those skills. User research is going to have probably user focus with a different lens and something else. Now, the functional skills are those that put the craft skills into practice. If you only have craft, you can build good solutions, but you need to put them in practice in order to grow them. These functional skills, by the way, they are transferable. So from here, you can move to another discipline, or you can understand that better and connect the dots, or you can move to product management, or whatever that is. These are transferable, they're great to develop. But then behavioral skills, let me zoom in here for a second. These are very important because they are your interpersonal skills. This is how you communicate. This is how you actually make an impact. If you don't develop these ones, your career is going to be limited. So even if you decide not to be a people leader or a manager or stay in a very specialized area, you need to communicate and collaborate well. So get your skills, your list of skills. You don't need 20, you need less than 10 for sure. Then you need your levels of contribution. These have to make sense, again, for your organization. So in this example, I have, say, associate product designer, so someone starting their career. I grade it out because in this example, perhaps you don't have enough support to help them grow and to coach them, and that's okay. Maybe you want to start with sort of like a mid-level, some experience needed. Senior designer, probably you want to get to lead designer if the organization is not too big, because you don't want to create too many levels. These are your titles. And what you want to add to this is this thing over here, that are your contribution tracks. So this is if you're going to be an individual contributor or a people leader. That's really, are you going to have reports, and are you going to look after them and help them grow? And not everyone is ready to be a people leader, so you really have to consider that. And not everyone wants to be a people leader, and that's also okay. I've worked with a lot of really great designers that I admire a lot, that are individual contributors, and they are perfectly happy there, and the organization needs them there, to be honest. Okay, so what you do next is that you bring your contributions tracks over here, and that gives you your table of all the roles that you're going to have. And for each one of these squares, what you want to do is to make a list. Let me bring you here, of all your skills and all your roles. Now, these are now your roles. So you have the title. And look, the titles are not evil. They give you common terminology to refer to this set of contributions. The point that I'm making here is that that's different than your role. This is your role because it describes the set of contributions and your competency at this skill. This example is interesting because what I want to illustrate here is there's only so much you can improve when it comes to craft skills. As in, how much better, if you're really good at visual interaction design, how much better can you get at it? There's a limit for some of this. How you get better, or better said, how you get more impact, is when you start improving these other skills. So the difference in these two is that to become a leader, you have to get better at breaking down complexity and at communication and collaboration. In this example, since this is an individual contribution track, the growth and development for all this didn't really change. Okay, so briefly, if you don't have that as part of your team, if you're part of a really small team and you want to do this for yourself, you can do that. What you do is that you create 3 columns, now, next, later. Now with all your skills, and you assess yourself. The next one with what you want to change. You have to be specific. Again, you have to do your homework. And the later, if you can't define it yet, that's okay. But that's how you structure it. So the last takeaway here is that you have to, you have to deliberately develop your skills. And we come to the end. I'll just close with this note. This is your journey. You have to own it. If you are not there yet, there where you want to be, it's because you have to get better at something. So I hope you can use this framework to identify what that something is, and you can map out your journey. Thank you.